Howdy YouTube and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So I've been talking about this video series for quite some time, for the last couple of months, and finally getting around to doing it. So in this video set here, what we're going to do is I'll get a bit of light on the scene here. So this happened, it must have been someone opening their car door onto mine at the shopping centre. I didn't even notice it when it happened. It was like, must have been a few days later. I'm like, hey, what's going on there? I asked the missus if she did it, and she said she didn't, but it definitely looks like someone's opened the door onto mine in the shopping centre. So there is a slight dent there, so it's slightly a low spot there, as well as the chips and scratches. And I think what we should nearly even do is run off one of these lines, so mask it off one of these lines, just to avoid having to remove these belt mouldings. I've seen them bent quite a few times, like some of the panel beaters over the years. I've seen them bend those body molds, so sometimes you're better off just leaving them on and sort of working around them. And also, being that I'm spraying in my garage, it's just going to be more little nibs and bits of dust to sand out and polish, rather than just having a nice neat line that we can polish out. So yeah, what we'll do first up is actually go through the tools and materials. So I sprayed this Nintendo Entertainment System that you see here over Christmas and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Like, that's how excited I was to get out here and paint this thing. I don't usually get that kind of time, so I saw a few hours and I thought I'd take that opportunity to spray this thing. And look, honestly, I think it looks great, but yes, there was a few nibs and bits of dust in it, so that's kind of to be expected when you're spraying in your garage. There's Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. That game is like killer hard. But yeah, just as I said, I just thought I'd bring it out just to give you guys a look at the kind of thing you can achieve in the garage, you know. Hey, it's not perfect, but for all intents and purposes, I think it looks great. And at the end of the day, this is really, like, it is working, but it's more just a showpiece, because I actually ended up getting a NES Classic Mini for Christmas as well. So that's the one that I choose to play on. But this one here is just a bit of a showpiece. It is working, as I say, but I tell you what, man, some of those games without save states, they're just way too hard. So what you do, like the NES Classic Mini, is like you can use this save state and you can save it wherever you are in the game, and then progress, save it, and then go straight back to that. Anyway, all that stuff aside, that's not really related to the video. So one thing I did want to say is that when I was spraying this, I really didn't set myself up very well. Like, I just came out here, I just wanted to get into the job, but this place was a little bit of a mess. It was a bit messier than what it is now. I just had stuff all over the place, as you see here. I've got a bit of a bin and had a bit of a tidy up. The main thing I noticed when I was doing that, I was like, oh, this is what I need. I need to get that base coat color, I need a rag, or I need a pot, or I need a stirring stick, or whatever it be. And I was like running from here into the back part of, like, I got another little shed out the back here. And I was just always running around looking for things that were right in front of my nose, because I was not very well organized. So I do just recommend just organize your work area before you even start work. So I spent about half an hour this morning having a bit of a tidy up. And this is my sort of a storeroom here. So this is the compressor that I ended up getting from Super Cheap Auto. This thing here was on special when I got it, and it was like $217, ultra cheap. And honestly, I've got a feeling this is going to be all I need to do that door. So that's the box of the compressor there, if you wanted to have a bit of a look at it. 180 litres per minute. So what you want to do is have a look at the spray gun that, if you're looking at getting a spray gun, have a look at the spray gun that you're thinking of getting. Look at the technical data on it and find out if the LPM is higher than the LPM on the compressor. Then the compressor won't actually stably be able to keep that pressure. It will start dipping and you'll lose pressure if it's lower than the spray gun. So my spray gun that I'm actually using is rated at 195, so I'm going to be using the Segola. So this is actually not even enough to run that spray gun consistently. However, it's only a small panel, and if I do lose a little bit of air pressure out, look, I don't think it's going to be the biggest deal. I'll just sort of compensate for it, but that's something worth looking into. I probably wouldn't tackle much more than a single panel with that compressor. At the end of the day, this is more just teaching you guys how to do it, more so than this is how I would even like to do it. I would most of the time go into work. My boss is pretty cool, and if it's my own car, or you know, once every 6 months, he doesn't really mind if I go in and use the workshop. And that's what we'd usually do. But yeah, things like this. Look, in future, after doing this job here, I'd probably happily do the base coat stage and get the color on, but I'd rather clear it at work. There was quite a bit of overspray in here, and in future I'd probably rather actually just take it into work to do the clear coat stage. So you're going to get a lot less dust in it and just less toxic chemicals around the house, which isn't really a good thing. So yeah, one other thing I'd like to say is health and safety. If you're working at home, just be very careful of just your power. Obviously, any sparks around these highly flammable paints, and it's all going to go up in flames. So what I decided to do here is get a bit of tape around. So this is my light here, so we're probably going to need this to actually work on this car while you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So we've got that light set up, but I actually decided to put some tape just around here, because sometimes when you unplug a power lead, you see it spark. So I don't want to go and accidentally say knock that, have that come out while the fumes are around, have a spark, and then a possible fire on my hands. So yeah, I mean, just a bit of common sense, I guess. Get the compressor out of the garage. So that's something that I didn't even think of before. As I said, I just wanted to get in and paint that. And then I had someone like leave a comment on my Facebook page, and he said, oh, you know, got any pointers for me? And I said, you know what, as I was sitting in a lounge room and thinking about it, I thought, you know what, you don't want all those fumes inside your compressor. You would never leave your compressor in your spray booth. So that's why I decided to move it out of the garage and get it into here. Now, the guys from Steel Camel in the US sent this out. This is pretty important to have some sort of moisture removal. So yeah, this is a Steel Camel W40510S. So honestly, this thing's been working perfectly, but if you don't have some sort of a water trap on your compressor, like a compressor by standard doesn't just come with a water trap on it, so you really need to get any moisture out of that air, and this thing has been doing really well. By the looks of it, it's not going to be something that absolutely breaks the bank. I wouldn't say that I would breathe that air, but if you just want something to spray with, this thing's been working really well. And yeah, look, the compressor is just enough for what I need. So I just rigged something up as far as air fittings and all that goes. Over the years, I've seemed to accumulate a few of these fittings and that. So you move to one shop and they use different air fittings, so you put all your other ones in a box somewhere. And yeah, the air fittings themselves, like these couplings here, these are Prevost. They're actually a really good brand. So I've had a few people ask about these Prevost ones, and I swear by them. And I've been quite surprised at actually how well this compressor is sealed too. Like for a $217 compressor, I haven't used this in like days, and it's still running. Yeah, it's still sitting above 90 psi. It's pretty amazing. Like must have been around a week since I've even used this, but it's still got quite a lot of pressure in there, which is, yeah, a good sign, I guess. And it's nice and light. So yeah, this is just something that I rigged up here. So I mean, you could probably get that better mounted if it was like more of a permanent type thing, but I like the idea of having it a bit more mobile. And yeah, I just put a rag around here so that's not going metal to metal, and then just cable tied it up there, and look, it's been working fine. I've got a nice long air line on it, so that's one other thing. You will actually lose a little bit of pressure the longer the airline, but I sort of wanted a longer airline. So this is a quick look at the bonnet that I sprayed at work a couple of months ago, yeah, maybe around a month ago. And yeah, look, this thing has been copping an absolute hiding in the West Australian sun, but it's been holding up quite well. So we're actually going to be polishing this. If I get time, I'd like to polish that tomorrow. As far as the rest of the tools and stuff goes, and materials, I've got some quartz light putty. I used that once on this NES and it seemed to work fine. I needed these actually, so I think we're going to be able to get the door handle out with these torque bits. And yeah, just a lot of the stuff that I already had from the previous video set where I did this spot repair. Actually, I've been pretty surprised at how well this spot repair is still looking, to be honest. Like, you can just see that fade out, but when you're sort of standing up here, man, you really can't even see it. And considering that fade out there was done with gun wash thinners, because I didn't have any fade out thinners, it's holding up better than what I would have expected. I mean, it's dulling off a little bit, but part of that is that I never really even polished it up properly. But honestly, for all intents and purposes, when I give that a wash, it looks fine. And I've got a feeling I'm going to have a similar thing here. Truth be told, if I wasn't a YouTuber looking for content and wanting to put a video on YouTube, I would just get a brush and brush touch this. This carries a daily driver. I'm not overly worried about little things like this. I didn't like those stone chips in the bonnet, so I actually really did want to fix those stone chips. They annoyed me. A bit of OCD on my behalf. Again, this one here, I probably could have lived with it, but it was just a way to do a video and teach you guys how to do that kind of stuff at home. And yeah, look, that's one thing that I didn't actually get any more of. I didn't really like these blocks last time. They're a bit hard on the edges. They didn't have so much give. I should have actually got some better blocks from work. Even those 3M stick-it ones, they've got like a bit of a, they're sort of soft, and you can yeah, mold them into the angles. So if you actually have a look here, that is a bit of a curved part of the panel, so I will have to be careful when I'm sanding that, because the blocks I have probably aren't really the best. I'm not the biggest fan of this style block. They can be quite hard on the edges, but we'll see how we go anyway. As far as masking goes, I did decide to, anything that I ever get from work, I'll just run it past the boss. So I'll just say, hey, is that cool if I grab a piece of 2000 grit, a piece of masking plastic, and some 2-pack primer? He's just like, yeah, no worries. But yeah, that's the way I see it. Like my uncle, he's been in this trade for years, and when I started in the trade, I was doing a bit of work at his place. He had a resto shop. And one of the first things he said to me is, if you ever need anything, just ask. There's a good chance, depending on obviously what it is, you know, I'm not going to give you a $700 Glazurette clear kit or something like that, but he said, if you ever need anything, ask. If I ever catch you stealing anything, mate, that'll be the last thing you do here, and you'll never be welcome back. So yeah, just be honest if you are an employee, and that, yeah, it's not just about spray painting. I just, and you feel better about it, you know, if you go and steal something, you're just going to have that bad feeling. I don't know what your conscience is like, but mine is. I'd rather do things by the book. But yeah, so as I say, like a lot of the materials we'll just go through as we go in this video, and I just want to do a bit of an intro video, and next one we'll get straight into it. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one, and we'll get into this job. Thanks for watching. Gunman out.